What's going on, everybody? My name is Justis. I'm with my guy.
What's poppin'? It's Tyaire. How y'all doing?
And you're watching the Silky Boys podcast, the way this podcast out right now for your sports needs and what's going on in the culture. Tyaire, another week, another Friday. How you feeling, my boy?
I'm feeling good. I'm feeling great, bro. NBA is back. I'm ready to get into it, bro. I'm excited, bro. Let's go.
You said it right there, so let's get into it. NBA basketball is back. Finally, after over 120-something days, we finally had NBA action. This week, we had a whole bunch of scrimmages from most of the teams. I think every team played, right, for the most part?
Every team played.
Every team played. Every team had a scrimmage. Down the bubble, it was great to see the fact that the NBA, they developed this plan and now see this plan in practice. And for me, one of my biggest takeaways is the fact that this can work long term. That was my first reaction to this. What was yours?
First of all, going into it, I was excited. Like I was like a kid on Christmas Day, just seeing basketball again in such a long time. So it was just like a good relief off your back to just take a break from everything going into the world. But going into this, like you said, this looks like something that can work going into the future. Like it feels the same kind of, you hear the crowd noise in the background. You still have the commentators speaking over the game. So as far as that NBA field basketball, I feel like by a month or so, we're going to get used to this. So like, I feel like at first it's going to be a little learning curve to get used to, but we'll get used to it pretty soon.
Mm-hmm. Another thing for me when I was watching all these games was the commentary. That's the only thing where, obviously, because it's over Zoom and things are going to be on delay. That's just what it is over the internet. So going forward in the future, I would like them to at least have the option if there was just no commentary. And for me as a basketball fan, I feel like I would enjoy that a lot more, just because it seems like, okay, now that like obviously commentating right next to another person is different over Zoom, and that in that way, and when you're trying to announce a professional basketball game, you kind of need to be in the room. You need to be in the atmosphere in order for everything just to flow correctly. So that was my only thing about that. I didn't know how the commentary was going to be, and I'm curious to see how it's going to change or how they're going to resolve some of those issues.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because it's definitely a big delay, especially like with a live event and just the different like pauses and effects, like in big moments, is definitely going to hinder like the excitement that you will usually get if the commentators was really there.
All right. So we've seen all these teams play after, like I said, over 100 days. Who you like seeing so far of these scrimmages? You know, obviously these games weren't real games, but you know, NBA action. Who you like seeing so far?
I'm not gonna surprise the Nuggets. The Nuggets is a team that is a real big sleeper team I have coming out the West with the just seeing Bol play the other day. I wasn't surprised because around draft time last year, I was surprised that he fell so low. I was expecting many teams to pick him because coming out of high school, he was a highly touted player who can do everything on the court. So I was like, yo, this guy's 7 foot. I thought he should have at least went top 5 last year in the draft. Honestly, with his talents and his ceiling, it's all NBA level. Like his body type, the things he can do is unheard of. Pairing him with Jokic, that type of tandem with 2 7-foot guys who can do everything is scary. And I feel like not this year they're gonna make it, but I feel like they're definitely gonna take like the Clippers or the Lakers to like 7 games, 6 or 7 games. I feel like that's one team we definitely got to look out for because just him and Jokic, and look, you still got MPJ coming off the bench. That's another prospect who was highly touted who fell. They got a lot of guys who they drafted late that have a lot of talent, and it's going to be fun because they're one of those teams that you can't sleep on because they have bigs and they have shooters on the outside. So, like, they got the best of both worlds. So, early on, I got the Nuggets. That's a big surprise I got coming out of this first bubble look.
I definitely agree with you. And that was my first reaction too, seeing Bol playing, putting up that 16-10. And you mentioned it too, Michael Porter Jr. Like you said, not this year, but next year. If he can come out, if he stays healthy and he develops on track to what we think he's going to be, that Nuggets team is going to be really scary, and that conversation for that top 2, top 3 team in the West is going to change dramatically. With that, my sleeper team, I was really surprised with the Trailblazers. With now they're getting Nurkic back, Dame, again, all NBA point guard. CJ, even though he had a missed dunk, CJ is a guy that's going to get you 20 points a night. They have a good enough team. Melo is still Melo at the end of the day. And now, only thing with them this entire year was just Nurkic. And when he went down the beginning of the year, that was a big loss. Now, have him back right around playoff time to make a late playoff push. Now it's conceivable to see them, hey, peeking into that second round, potentially making some noise, maybe in the third.
That's why I say last week I posed that question to you. Are the Lakers scared of them potentially ending up on that 8th spot? So my question is, who do you think the Lakers will likely – who do the Lakers want to face out of those teams fighting for the 8th spot? The Blazers, the Pelicans, and the Grizzlies. Out of those 3, who do you honestly think the Lakers want to see?
Honestly, they want to see the Grizzlies as far as an easy matchup.
Yeah.
That's a young team. That's a team that doesn't have a lot of playoff experience, and they're just gonna roll over them, in my estimation. If anything, I'll be nice and give the Grizzlies maybe one, just because I think Ja is gonna be an MVP one day. But that's about it. If you're a Lakers fan, you're hoping that the Grizzlies make the playoffs in order to play them in the first round. But if it's the Pelicans, that's a different situation because Zion is Zion, and Brandon Ingram, he's proven to be an all-star. Drew Holiday is Drew Holiday. Lonzo Ball is a great playmaker and defender. He's a straight-up shooter. And that's gonna be an issue for the Lakers if they play him in the first round or any point in the playoffs. And plus, what we just said with the Blazers.
All of those guys have chips on their shoulders from already being traded from the Lakers for AD. So they're coming into that series hungry and angry about leaving that team already. So, like, they're going to fight even extra harder. So, like you said, the Grizzlies are the team that if I was the Lakers, I would want.
Most definitely. For me, another surprise team not a surprise team, but a team that I'm really looking forward to seeing play again, the Mavericks. Just the tandem between Luka and Porzingis and Seth Curry coming off the bench, Tim Hardaway doing his thing as well. Like, that's a really fun team, too, that we're going to see in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, I really want them to get out of that 7th spot because my heavyweight team, we're going to talk about a little bit later down, which is the Clippers. And I just feel like it's a first round bounce for them if they land in that 7th spot versus the Clippers. So I want them at least to get to like 6 or 5 so they can at least make it to the second round. Because if the Mavericks land in that 7th spot and face the Clippers, it's done for them early.
Is it done?
Bro, the Clippers, bro. We're gonna talk about the Clippers. The Clippers are that team, bro.
They are that team. I'm giving the respect to Paul George and Kawhi, Montrezl Harrell, all of them. But at the same time, Luka is a generation talent. Luka is putting up 28, 7 and 7 in only his second year. He was the MVP of the second best professional basketball league at only age 19. That speaks something too. I'm just saying. Now, if they get swept, they're gonna be in it. I'll say that. If they get swept, they're gonna be in every single game just purely off Luka. And also, I still believe in Porzingis too.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to get blown out every game. I just think the veteran talent and just the depth that the Clippers have is just going to carry them through a lot of the rounds in these playoffs. And I just feel like Luka in his first year of playoffs is not going to knock off a 2-time final MVP. I just don't think that's going to happen.
That would be a hell of a storyline.
Yeah, it would.
That would be a hell of a storyline, though. Shout out to Luka.
Yeah.
But overall, we're just really both excited. NBA basketball is back, bro. Like, honestly, at the end of the day. Now we're getting started. Next week, what we have? We have the Pelicans, and then
the Pelicans and the Jazz, I think, maybe. I think it might be Pelicans, Jazz, and then
Pelicans, Jazz, then LA versus LA next week. So, see what happens, man. I'm just glad that NBA basketball is finally back.
So before everything starts, before we go into the thing, who's your champion, bro?
Yeah. Who's my champ right now?
Yeah.
My champ right now, honestly, is the Lakers.
You got the Lakers. I'm going with the Lakers, but that Clipper team is scaring me, bro. Like, I just looked down from that roster, bro. They honestly have, like, 3 players that can get you 30. they have 4 players that can get you 20, and it's a scary team. Honestly, 4 to 5 players that could get you 20. It's a scary team when you really look down to it. If all of them click and come together on the same night, there's no team in the NBA that could beat them. So that Clippers team is really a scary team you got to look out for coming down in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
Like their record, like when Kawhi and PG dropped 30 together, I think they're undefeated. Like that alone is scary.
Yeah. I still think Lakers, but I agree with you. That Clippers team is right there knocking on the door, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being in the finals.
Like people keep forgetting about Lou Will. Like they still have Lou Will on their team. Like regardless of PG and Kawhi, they still have Lou Will who can go out there and drop 30 on a calm night. Like, you can never count them out.
Never count that boy out. But yeah, I mean, again, just having NBA basketball back. Now, shifting over from NBA to NFL side, we have, it's really funny to see just throughout this pandemic how sports leagues and how these front offices on these leagues execs have handled just everything, with just trying to come back with the season. We saw what M. Silver did in the NBA and how they're able to bring that back. They are the standard at this point in terms of what a professional league should look like. And now to see the NFL and what they're trying to do and trying to bring football back this fall, you look at both situations, it's 2 different stories. It's completely black and white, and it really is just wow when you really just take a look at it. And getting to the NFL, we're talking about specifically with player safety. Obviously, the NFL is the most conservative league we've had. It's the most old school thought league that's still run in this day, where it's a business. And at the end of the day, these owners, these league execs don't care if their players get hurt or not. At the end of the day, if they're still bringing in revenue, if they're still being paid, they want their players out there on the field no matter what. But right now, what players have in a very long time, where they have more leverage over these leagues, just because of everything that's happening, obviously, right now with Corona, and also the fact that guys that just signed their extensions, like Pat Mahomes, Myles Garrett, Derrick Henry, a good amount of that money is guaranteed. So it's not like they really need to play this season at all. You know what I mean? And you take a look at someone like Kirk Cousins, who his contract is fully guaranteed. He doesn't need to play another snap of football for the next 3 years.
Exactly.
You know, he's still going to get paid. So I think it's really interesting just in the next couple of weeks where NFL players have their power and really use it. I'm really looking forward to these next couple of weeks.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting when, like you said, just the vast comparison to the NFL, the NBA, or the MLB. Like we already see these 2 different sports leagues who are on the same level as the NFL that are starting back up, that had a real safety plan for the players, that the Players Association of those leagues and those leagues could come together and agree with. And it's sad that the NFL is just, they're not taking the advice of the medical experts that they've hired themselves to get advice from. They're not even trying to listen to that advice. They're just like, no, we're going to make this money regardless of any safety hazards we're going to face. We're going to get this money because that's what we do with the NFL. And we don't really care about what our players have to say. So like you said, it's weird to see now players speaking out, and I kind of like seeing it. Like last week, we had all the players speaking out on their Twitter. We had Russell Wilson, we had Odell Beckham, all these type of players, and it's interesting to see that these players are finally stood up. Last week, I watched this interview. It was Odell, Victor Cruz, Cam Newton, and Todd Gurley, and they kind of talked about it too. They was like, "Yo, we're at a point now where we have the voice. We're the guys. We control our own narrative." Like Odell was like, "This is my YouTube channel. We're speaking about what we need to talk about. We're not on ESPN. So if we need to come together and make a stand, we should do it because we have the power, because ultimately they're going to buckle under the pressure. Just like we're going to talk about later with the Washington thing. They had to buckle under pressure after Nike said, yo, we're not selling merch. FedEx said, yo, we're pulling our name from your stadium if y'all don't change that name. So if the players really want to make a stand and be like, yo, we're not playing if y'all don't set out a plan for us so we make sure we save. Make sure that when we get to these games, the staff at these stadiums is confined. If we have to play all the AFC games in a set place and all the NFC games in a set place, because is it really logical to still be flying around the country with teams that are over 100 people? Like, these teams have the most players in the league in all sports leagues. Like, the NFL is the most biggest sports league in the world as far in America, as far as the MLB, NFL. So, like, it's much more players that's traveling, going different places. It's much more dangerous and easier to catch this virus as opposed to when you see in the NBA, they have a confined place where everybody's at. But no, the NFL just wants to go as business as usual. We're still getting teams last week like, oh, yeah, I don't think we're going to have fans in the stadium this year. You don't think we're going to have fans in the stadium this year? Do you even know if we're going to have a season to play? Like, y'all still trying to get fans in the stadium. That really shows y'all how sick in the head these owners really are. And it's saddening. And I feel like the NFL is basically modern day slavery when it comes down to it, regardless of how much money they make. When you just see the ins and outs of how this league is run, it's really disgusting.
It's been that way for years.
Right.
It's just now it's coming to a point where, along with everything else that's going on in the world, players in particular just being more aware of their circumstances and realizing and taking advantage of the leverage that they do have in these certain situations. When you talk about, obviously, in contract negotiations, but even still right now, again, like you said, where it's like we can sit out if we don't feel safe and comfortable playing at all. And honestly, we're about to be in the end of July. Training camp should have started at this point by now. Like, August is next month. By that time, preseason and a regular, if this was any other year, preseason would be starting in a month. And yet there's still no real plan on how to play football or if there is even going to be a season. And it makes me really doubtful, like, we're even going to get one. I truly don't even believe we're going to get a football season this year. I really don't. As much as these experts and these owners and some players may want that, you have to look at the reality of the situation. And the reality of the situation is it's probably not the best idea to do that. And NFL, you're just going to have to take this hit. Unfortunately, you're going to have to take this hit. It is what it is. You know, you can't – with the basketball, you can play basketball somewhat safely with Corona going on. We've seen that happen this past week. Are there still going to be tests, positive tests for Corona? Yes, absolutely. But it's still more safer than as opposed to NFL, where it's like, again, you said you have these teams with over 100 personnel, players and coaches flying across different state borders and all that. You can't make everyone in that organization feel entirely safe if you go along with this season. That's just ultimately what it is.
Exactly. Like, you're already seeing college sports canceling football seasons for the fall. So, like, it's like you guys, you got to kind of, like, see what the pattern is showing and fall in line. Like, you can't just keep going as business as usual. Like, it's different times right now.
Mm-hmm. You have to adapt. That's simply what it is. You have to adapt. And if you're in the NFL, what league executives should do is take this season and really reflect on, okay, what can we do better as a league? Because right now, again, in terms of popularity, football is king, but NBA is right there. And in terms of just media approval and just overall fan approval of leagues, NBA is number one. NFL is dropping, and it's been dropping for the past couple of years.
Exactly.
You know, so honestly, this needs to be a real step back for the NFL and really decide, okay, where do we go from here? How do we help rebrand, and how do we restructure, and how do we make this a better league for not only us, but for our players and also for our fans as well? That's ultimately what I believe should happen.
It should have been happening a long time.
It should have been happening, but, you know, Bears can't be choosers sometimes, so I'd rather that we do get it in this scenario rather than not having it happen.
For real.
You know, it is what it is. And with that, in terms of talking about things that rather be doing now rather than later. Washington finally coming out and saying that we're finally going to change this name that we've had for over 20 years, that it's been offensive to a whole generation of peoples for so long. It's like, okay, you're doing this, but again, it's for like this should have been done a long time ago. And to me, the thing that was kind of sickening is the fact when I saw that they were still going to try to push media apparel with the Washington football team, whatever. I'm just like, for what? Honestly, for what? That looks like the most oddest, most corniest thing that you could possibly do right now in order to try to get some of that money back. Like, I don't know. Well, Washington, and on top of that, of course, the whole sexual harassment was going on with the 15 women that's come out, and the owner not really saying anything about it. Like, Washington football in Washington looks really bad right now.
Bro. Like, it's like just all these owners in the NFL is just coming out looking nasty. Like even our owner, Woody Johnson, he got caught up in all this stuff. It's just disgusting, bro. Like, and just for them to change the name to Washington Football Team, I feel like that's just like a FU to everybody who wanted the name change. They're like, we're not even going to try to give it a real name. We're going to troll you guys and just call it the Washington Football Team. Like, we don't really give them enough to really change it. So we're just going to temporarily name it this as it's a FU to everybody who was really championing for it to be done. And it's just nasty that all these owners are now showing their true colors. Like, they just really sick and old, hateful white men. And it's time for them to get out of here, bro. It like you said, it's time for the NFL to have a reform, because like the Washington thing and just the NFL failing to realize the safety hazards for the next season. It's the time is now for this to get out of here, honestly.
Yeah, it's time. It's long overdue for that to happen. And again, just NFL, just take this season, just take this L, take this loss and reflect and come back better at the end of the day. Like, that's all it is. And moving on with that, we can start getting a little bit of the culture. So we gotta talk about Kanye. We gotta talk about Kanye. But before we talk about Kanye, I have to preface this in saying that this Kanye situation is a touchy subject. Just because on one hand, this is someone who has been clinically diagnosed with a mental illness. This is someone that has come out and said, I go through these things. And sometimes when I'm in album mode, I don't take my prescriptions. That is a fact. That is on one hand. But on the other hand, this is Kanye West, and he has a history of doing these stunts, so to say, whenever he's trying to release an album or when he's trying to push a product out for sales. So we see that again this week earlier with just the array of tweets ranging it was out there. Like, you just put a lot of stuff out there. You put a lot of stuff out there, and it's like, okay. And it just so happens to be on a week where he's supposed to release an album. It's like, at what point do we essentially take this seriously as far as, okay, is he trying to exploit his mental illness in order to try to sell or push a product? Or is this someone where he's actually going through this shit and this is real, this is serious, he needs help from his loved ones, his family members? And, if the album, at the time of recording this, the album has not dropped yet. So with that fact, it leads me to believe that this is something a little bit more serious than I think we all first thought. Because I feel like if he was conscious enough to exploit his mental illness in order to try to push a product, he would have put it out. And there might have been a slight delay, but it would have been here today. But yet it's not. So it's like, it's a touchy subject, and it's just like, I don't know how to feel fully on it. Like, I don't have my full everything there for me.
Like you said, bro, this is definitely a touchy subject. And like Shannon Sharp always says on Undisputed, he's like, two things can be true. And I feel like with Kanye, like 8 or 7 things can be true in Kanye West. So I feel like, yes, he's definitely going through something mentally. And I feel like he also is trying to promote his album. I think he is also trying to gain traction for his bogus presidential election. And I think he's also a raging narcissistic that only cares about himself and the betterment of Kanye West. I feel like all 5 of those things can be true. And I feel like just from him speaking at that campaign rally, we can see it. Like when he's talking about how he wanted to, we can see that he's trolling, or he's like just saying anything to get a click. When he says the thing about Harriet Tubman, it's just like the same thing he said when he was on TMZ about like slavery was a choice. It's like this point he keeps trying to get, that like, oh, slavery was a choice because Black people back then, they had the power if they would have all came together to get out of there, but they didn't. So air quote, it was their choice to stay, which isn't true. Or him saying Harriet Tubman freeing the slaves, she didn't really free them. She just sent them to work for other white people, which is false. Kanye West, she did free them because they were slaves making no money, getting whooped, killed, beaten, raped every day, and she freed them to the north where they actually can go work make money, and they were free independent people who never had to worry about working again. So in that point, she did free them, Kanye. So that was foolish. But then you see him break down when he's talking about how his father didn't want him and it was an abortion. So you can really see that there's real emotions there. But then you can also see him be funny and trolling when he's talking about Kris Jenner on Twitter, and he's like, oh, her boyfriend is Kanye. Like, that's a joke. That was funny. And then you see him calling her Chris Jong-un and all these different things. So I feel like it's all of everything. You just have to take it for what it is. Yes, Kanye does need help, but he's also a guy who, when there's time to he has to speak up and either sell Yeezys, or he has to announce his new Gap deal, or he has a new album he's working on, or he has a new cartoon he's about to come out with Kid Cudi. He's going to create traction with his antics and with his personality that has got him this money this whole way. And it's nothing new. He's been doing this since he's been out. So it's really no surprise to me. And I really hope he gets help. And I really hope he has people in his life that will sit him down and talk to him. Because what he really needs an auntie in his life that will really just sit down and slap him in the head like, boy, what is you doing? Because like his mom is not there anymore. And I feel like that's really the problem that he's missing. He's missing that person. His mom was that last person to sit him down. And that was the last person that stopped him from doing that crazy thing. Like, we all have that person in our lives. No matter what, they're going to stop you from doing what he's doing. And I think his mom was his last person in his life that was that for him. And now he's just spiraling out of control. And I don't think the Kardashians are the right family to handle him, because with things like this, they just exploit it for the money and for the attention. So on that point, he's right. Like, he doesn't want his kids on the Playboy magazine cover. Like, that's some things Kim was trying to work out. But then he's wrong for like accusing Kim of sleeping with Meek. Like, bro, regardless of what y'all going through, you can't call your wife out on Twitter. Like, your kids are gonna see this stuff. Like, don't go on stage talking about you were about to abort your daughter, bro. Like, she's gonna see that when she grows up. She already got to see her mom's sex tape, all this other stuff, all the television stuff. Like, she already got all this stuff in front of her when she grow up. Now she got that. So like, at the end of the day, I just hope Kanye gets the help he needs. It was good to see that all the jokes died out quick, like when it first started. Because I didn't joke about it, because I was like, yo, this is a serious thing, bro. Like, Kanye is sick and he needs help. Because it's sad if something ended up to him and the next day, oh, Kanye West is pronounced dead, then we're not laughing anymore. So it's a touchy situation that we really got to look into.
Mm-hmm. And further, it just furthers the conversation also just about mental health and just mental awareness of just making sure, being aware of what you're going through, and if you know you're not right, you don't feel right, then yes, it's okay to go ahead and talk to somebody that you trust about these things and go seek professional help. At the end of the day, if you're someone that is feeling low and down, reach out to one of your friends, reach out to your parents, reach out to someone who will actually take their time out their day to listen to you. and just for everyone out there, just make sure, take the time out of your day sometimes just to make sure, like, hey, am I okay? Am I really genuinely okay right now? Because, it does affect more of us than I think we think or what we choose to believe. So just always be aware of that and just closing out. But yeah, I hope Kanye gets help, honestly. Just it's like I love Kanye the musician. I'm lukewarm on Kanye the person, but partly because of the things that he's done for attention, but at the end of the day, this is still a human being. And you're right, we don't want to wake up the next day with a headline saying Kanye West has been pronounced dead because of this. So Kanye, room for you, go get help, man. At the end of the day. So transitioning from that, from one music star legend to two more with the versus battle this past Wednesday, DMX versus Snoop Dogg. I went into it. It was a vibe the entire time. It was a vibe. DMX is hilarious. Had me crying. Snoop Dogg is just a vibe. It was Snoop won. We all know that Snoop won, but it was one of those verses like where it was just a celebration. It was just a good time all around.
Sure, bro. I feel like this was the best verses I watched, bro, because like every song I was playing, like I knew, and I was just vibing. And just the two different styles that they had, like they just have their two unique styles in hip hop, and it's just so dope to just see them come and just hearing one record after the other. You hear Snoop play a banger classic, and then you hear DMX come right back with a banger. But like you said, Snoop won, but like I thought the battle was gonna go different because I feel like just like you said, DMX is hilarious, and he's not really like we saw in the battle. He's not really into the internet stuff. He's not really into like what the people think. So I thought DMX was just gonna go in there and just play his favorite songs and not really the best songs he made, but just the songs he liked the most. But it looked like this looked like the first battle that was really curated. I feel like Swiss really sat down with DMX and made his list with him. He's like, I produce these beats, bro. We're not about to have me look bad out here, and this is my platform. So I'm gonna make sure you, my main artist throughout my career, is straight in the battle. So I'm gonna look out for you. And Snoop is Snoop, and he's the perfect gentleman, the most famous rapper ever, the everybody's uncle, and that's what he was through the night, bro. He even made DMX come out of his shell because, like, at the beginning of the battle, DMX was real laid back and low key, but like Snoop is like joking and opened him up, and it was just fun, bro. And like we said, bro, Snoop is just that dude, and he had hits that he didn't even play, bro. Like, but overall, it was a great night. I was on my feet the whole time, bro. It was a vibe.
It was a vibe. It was fun the entire night. Just watching that battle all over again. It made me remember again like why I had just such a love for West Coast hip hop. It was because of Snoop Dogg. Just because you said like he is someone that had just a unique flow, and then with just G Funk added into that, and the whole West Coast vibe with him and Dre, like it was. I remember it brought me back to when younger, hearing those songs for the first time, like Jid and Juice, G's and Hustlers, so on and so forth. And it was just really fun to hear those songs again, and also from DMX too, hearing Where the Hood at, X Gon' Give It to You. Even how it's going down too, which I forgot about. Honestly, hearing that again, it's like, yo, I really messed with this song. And for me personally, I felt like I was going down over Beautiful, honestly,
Bro.
And it was just a really fun night, honestly.
Bro, one of the greatest rounds for me, and I feel like the greatest round of verses that came was in this battle, bro. DMX played Slippin', bro. Slippin' by DMX is one of my all-time favorite rap songs. DMX played that, and then Snoop played Murder Was the Case, bro. And I was like, yo, these are two of the most powerful rap songs in rap history. Just like DMX even broke down after he played Slippin', like Write That Pain. Like, and those two songs, bro, the just stories and the trials and tribulations that Snoop and DMX was talking about in those songs was just so inspiring and dope. And that round was just like, yo, this is the dopest thing I've ever saw, bro. And then the follow up, you got Nothing But a G Thing versus Party Up. Like, are you kidding me, bro? Like, there's nothing more I can ask for, bro. And just like I said last week, bro, that intro to Rough Riders Anthem might be the greatest intro of all time to a song, bro. Swiss Beats needs to be put in the Beatmaker Hall of Fame for making that beat, bro. Just that dum 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 dum. Like when that song come on, bro, get out the way, bro. It's a fight's about to break out, bro. Like,
yeah, someone's getting punched in the face, someone's catching an elbow, like everybody's just going nuts. Just overall, really fun night. Two dogs going at it, playing their best records, and it was just a celebration. It honestly, like, that felt like a concert,
bro.
That felt like a concert.
They need a show, bro. They need a podcast, bro. They need a dog talk podcast, bro.
A dog talk podcast.
That show would be hilarious, bro. They need to make that happen, bro. Their personalities just go together so well, bro.
Snoop's probably with it. Hey, Snoop would probably be down to do that.
For real, bro.
All right. So go from that music, let's go into New Music Friday. We had 2 J. Cole songs. I only listened to them once a piece. I can't give that much, but from what I heard to it, I like the second one more than I did the first one. We had that drop. What do you think about them?
They was cool. I think I like the first one better than the second one. What was the name of them? Let me pull the names up right now. It was the Lewis Street Pack. Oh, so yeah, I like to Climb Back better on the first one. I just like a lot of what he was talking about on that first track. But overall, it had me excited for what we get in from this new Cole album. It's supposedly the album he about to drop before he retires. And just the topics he was getting into in that first song was really dope. Like on the second verse, he was really talking about like a relationship he had with his friend who started like this as he got more successful, the like support started to turn more into hate. And it was really it was good to hear, because like everybody can relate to that. Like as you start changing in life, you get those type of friends that start acting different. And it's just crazy to see that like even rappers as big as J. Cole still experience this, however later in their career. So it's just seeing him evolve and still telling stories about what he's going through is dope. And that's just what made us love J. Cole so much. It's just how he's able to tap into his life through his music. And I feel like that's what he's about to do on this next album.
Mm-hmm. The next album is going to be really good.
Yeah.
So we had that 2-pack release. What else we had? Gunna released the deluxe version of Warner. Only listened to about half the songs from there. I can tell you right now, Relentless is probably my favorite of the 4 that I listened to with Lil Uzi Vert. But from what I heard, it's Gunna, like you said, it's just more of that his refined sound.
Exactly.
And that's what it is. It was really good. It was good for the songs that I listened to. So we had that release. I think Queen Naja released a song too. I listened to that this morning. I really like that song.
Yeah,
I really like that one.
Yeah, Queen's dope, bro. She's a YouTube star. She got famous over YouTube. She was a couple. I've been knowing her for a while now, but she's dope. She got good music. So it's cool to see her in this lane now with the real artists, because I knew her as a YouTuber, and to see her now shift over into the real artist realm where she's getting real features with Kalani, and she's on a Pop Smoke Deluxe, which we gotta talk about. So yeah, her new song Pack Light is dope. And if you want to check out some of her old music, go listen to Medicine, bro. That song is hard by her. But she's a cool R&B artist, bro. She's dope. She's coming up, bro. She's up next.
She's on the next one. She's like on that same level of I'm asking this, on the kind of like on the same wave as like a Snow Allegra or like a Summer Walker, like on the come up?
She's on the come up. She's not there yet. She's more of like, she has a real soulful voice, but she can still give you that like poppy vibe. But she can really sing though. Like it's not faking it. Like it's not she's saved by beats she's on. She really got that voice, bro.
I'm gonna definitely check it out. Pop Smoke Deluxe, Shoot for the Stars.
Fire, bro. It's just I have more heat in the tuck. Let me give it to you, bro.
That's all it is.
Happy birthday to the king, bro. Rest in peace to the king. Happy 21st birthday. But Yeah, the Pop Smoke Deluxe is hard, bro. My favorite track off of it right now is Backseat, bro. That is just a vibe. I just feel like if you put a guitar on the beat, have somebody sing, I'm gonna like the song, bro. But I definitely like Backseat. I like Showing Off Part 1 with Fabio. I like the Yeah Yeah remix with Queen Naja we just talked about. And Be Clear I like. And even I like the She Feeling Nice with Jamie Foxx. But like I said, it was just pop. I got more heat in the tug. Let me throw that out to y'all. So it was real dope, bro. Rest in peace to Pop.
Rest in peace, Pop Smoke. Really dope album. Where Ori is now deluxe. Again, more music here, and it's really good. It's more that drill shit. More again what we saw, what he was starting to get into as an artist, and it was really dope. I was surprised to see the Jamie Foxx feature. I really was.
Yeah.
Was not expecting that, but hey, Jamie Foxx really talented, and it was
He,
good.
he's one of those dudes that can do everything. Jamie Foxx is a goat, bro. For real, for real. Like he can do it. Right.
For real. But yeah, shout out to Pop Smoke, RP Pop Smoke, Shoot for the Stars. Still my top 3 albums so far of the year. Obviously, towards the end of the year, we'll get into our top 10s later on. But right now, like I haven't heard anything that has really like passed that for me.
Bro, so I have artists that are slated to drop. Who do you think is gonna have the best album of the second half of the year out of like either we know Drake is supposed to drop and we know Cole is supposed to drop and people are hinting at maybe a Kendrick drop. So out of those 3, who you think might have the biggest who might have the biggest album out of those 3?
Drake will have the biggest album because he's the biggest pop star and just biggest rapper out right now. But I think when J. Cole does release, I feel like that's gonna get a lot of attention too, and also a lot more love, like genuine love than that. If we know that this is basically it, this is the last that we're gonna hear from Cole for a while. But as far as what's gonna be on the charts, where people are gonna be playing in their cars, what people are gonna be playing at social gatherings and such that later on in the year, it's gonna be Drake.
Yeah. Like you said, I definitely feel like Drake is going to Drake it, so he's Drake. So that whole sentence explained it. If you know, you know what that means. But I definitely feel like Kendrick is that dude that if he drops the album he drops will be talked about 20 years from now. I just feel like everything that's going on in this world and the country and the climate is perfect for Kendrick. I feel like he's been sitting down observing everything that's been going on. And I feel like he's been locked in and he really got something to give us. Because he hinted at something like back in February that he was dropping an album this year. So if he's dropping, it's like a perfect alley-oop for Kendrick to really slam dunk on this. Like it could be To Pimp a Butterfly on crack, bro. Like it could be a different type of time. So Kendrick would be my guy out of those 3 to really drop like a culture shaking album.
Mm-hmm. And Kendrick is going to be Kendrick and not say anything and just drop it one day.
Exactly, bro.
Like, no, it's not going to be, it's going to be what J. Cole did back in 2014 to 2014. He'll drop just no promotion at all, just drop it, here it is. Y'all go play it. Yeah. That's essentially what it is. Oh yeah, one more album, or I say EP that I listened to over the week, Pink Sweats, The Prelude. Really like that. If I can't really put a label on it, he's just an artist. Like he of the little 5-6 songs that he put out, there was a lot of different vibes. He went into a lot of different things just as an artist. I didn't think I was going to hear from him based off of some of the previous music I listened to. But overall, that little Prelude, it's really good. It's a short EP on like 5 songs. If you're looking for something different, it's there. It's really good. I like that a lot.
Yeah, I'm gonna check that out. I heard a couple of his old songs. I got introduced to him from the Joe Budden podcast. But I'm gonna definitely check him out. He's one of those dope up and coming guys in that R&B pseudo realm that I like. So I'm gonna listen to it.
Yeah, for real. Anything else you want to talk about?
Nah, bro. I think that's it. We gonna talk about that Lakers Clippers game next week when we get back, bro. It's gonna come on Thursday night. We here Friday, bro.
All right, Brody. With that being said, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, share, subscribe. We really appreciate it. With that being said, we'll see you on the next one.
Peace.